District 14 Board of Directors. Today is May 1st. The first item on the agenda is public comments. Do we have anyone for public comments?
I don't see anybody here electronically from the public.
We don't have anything for operations, and we'll move on to the finance, which the treasurer's report. We have item A, treasurer's report. Can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Scott, first by Glenn. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Aye.
The second item is the growing upright lease extension. Jim, do you want to speak to this, or do you want me to just?
This is done every time the lease is up. It's been a partnership with the Southwest Tech for as long as I've known, so coming up on 14 years. So this is just standard operating. You own the building, that's why you're a party to the lease, but this is really a contract between Southwest Tech and Growing Upright. So you just need to be a party to it and vote it.
I think it was put on the agenda because I was asked to sign as the chair, but it's it's ultimately a formality on our part to sign. So, can I have a motion to approve signature on the lease?
So moved.
Motion by Susan, second by Scott. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Aye.
We will move on to number 4, admin contract.
Nick Galt.
Just pass out a very quick overview. Explanation. Sure. Scott, I'll quickly explain what I just handed out. Just a very short overview that explains the outcome of the recent reopener for the contract negotiations between the administrators contract, which is our assistant principals and principals, with the boards, the elementary board and the Mount Anthony Union Board. They have 1 year remaining on their contract, which is the current year. Excuse me, 2 years remaining on the contract, this year and next year. And the reopener was to discuss primarily wages in light of recent contract negotiations with teachers and support staff and non-union wage increases. They requested to open and discuss their wage schedule. Their existing contract had annual wage increases of 3% for current year and next year. As a result of the tentative agreement that was reached in negotiations, what we're bringing to the board is a request to ratify their contract to add an additional 2% increase to the current year and next year, which would bring the overall increase to 5%. So again, it was 3% scheduled for this year, 3% scheduled for next year. The requested ratification would increase that by 2% for both years. And again, this was partially in light of the 9% increases that were received by teachers, support staff, and non-union wage earners last year. Also with input and data collected from other school districts about principal and assistant principal salaries throughout the state, just making sure we're staying competitive and benchmarking against other school districts. So that was the outcome of the negotiations. And so the request to the board is to consider this ratification and whether or not you'd like to do this. This was presented to the elementary board at their meeting last week, and they ratified the change. So.
And I'm recommending that you ratify this.
So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone want to ask questions? Anyone would like to ask some questions?
How typical is it that this comes before the board after a contract's been ratified already?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I have enough experience to know. This is only my 9th year. This is the first contract, other than
It's very
the
rare.
agreement. Yeah, it's rare. During COVID, there was an agreement to freeze wages, and that could technically be considered a ratification of existing contract. But I would say it's rare. I think Jim agrees that it's pretty rare. It's not something that you would anticipate
Right.
happening.
Nor I think, do we anticipate having? it
No.
again.
Rare,
It's
but
different.
I think there's some equity with this.
Wouldn't anticipate this happening every time somebody else settles a contract and then reopening existing.
Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, the salary increases from the teachers created some compression, right? Or like
Absolutely.
against the principals and assistant principals. And I think the decision to have the discussions to reopen this was to make sure that it was equitable and that we weren't going to like lose
Yeah.
admins, as a result of, trying to increase teacher salary. So is that,
Absolutely. Our assistant principals, there's not a huge gap between our highest paid teachers and our newest assistant principals. So that was something we're mindful of too.
any other questions?
How does this affect the current year's budget if this is retroactive?
It,
So we did confirm with Renee. Yeah. Go, Joe.
Renee. Go ahead. Yeah, Renee is not concerned about funding this at all.
Yeah. The actual dollar amount is relatively small. I mean, I could share
I
it.
can't remember what it was. I was trying to, I feel like it was.
I could give it to you if somebody
I
wants.
don't want to give
it.
it was like it,
It was to the tune of thousands of dollars, not tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I don't know why I
could
think
give
I
you
had a
the
figure of,
specific dollar.
I think it was less than 45,000, but I'm not, I don't have it.
so I have 25 in my head, but we could get an answer if they're like for it to
The
be.
total number of employees we're talking about is only 13. So it's, 2% on 13 employee salaries, essentially.
In light of that, I would go with Stephanie's estimate of 25,000 or less.
But I have the exact numbers if that's helpful.
Other questions?
I'd make a motion to ratify.
We have a motion by Scott. Do we have a second? A second by Dave. Any discussion?
I think I might have to recuse myself from this.
That's probably.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Understood. I was
Yes.
thinking, I had the pause for a minute, think, why is she doing that? Yes, yeah.
So with Susan recusing herself, are there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Nick. We have the consent agenda. We have minutes, warrants, retirement, leaves of absence, resignations, nominations. Can I have a motion to approve all in as one?
So moved.
And someone by Glenn, second by
Second.
Beth. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We do not have any policies for this evening, so we're gonna move on to the administrator's report. We'll start with the student representatives.
So we're in the final stretch of the year for students, specifically seniors. Next week is the seniors' last week. And then we have prom on the 31st, and then underclassmen awards night is May 28th. Senior awards night is a little bit after that on June 4th, and graduation is on June 6th. Tonight, actually, the senior night for boys lacrosse at Spinelli Field, and it started at 4:30. And then tomorrow is senior night for girls lacrosse at 4:30. I think also on Spinelli. And then tomorrow also the spring is the spring concert for the music department, and I definitely would recommend checking that out because they always have a lot of talent there. So
Thank you. Any questions?
Oh, she doesn't seem real excited about school being.
Your last meeting with us?
yeah, I'm
Thank you for coming this.
Being very professional.
Well, thank you. We'll move on to the high school principal Payne's report.
Okay, thank you. A couple of things. From a request from this committee earlier, per the policy of personal use of wireless communication. This year, we instituted a bell-to-bell expectation of no personal electronics during the school day. We have provided students with a Yonder branded bag to lock their electronics in during the school day. Shared this expectation with students at the start of the school year and revisited this expectation throughout the school year during class meetings and individual conversations. We will be collecting the Yonder bags at the end of the school year. We reminded students there's a $30 replacement for any lost or damaged bags. Wanted to share some data with the group. That was the request. And I got a simple chart, so hopefully folks can see that. Nick will post that for me. So we instituted the expectation on October 7th. And what you're looking at is a graph of total number of cell phone violations by month as we move from October to the right on May. May is incomplete, obviously. This was a snapshot taken last week. The blue bar represents the total number of violations, the total number of write-ups of students found with a cell phone on their person. And then there's additional bars. The red one is for students who had a second violation. The gold one is for a third. I do have a handful of students, and when I mean by a handful of students, it's fewer than 10 who have more than 4, 5, 6, 7 violations of having a phone being found on them. October is 98. November was 42, December was 25, January was 21, February was 16. It's a good trend. You can see that March we punched back up to 45, down to 31 in April, and then 16 in May. I don't know the reason why March, perhaps the signs of spring, and but we're going to talk about that over the summer as a team. A couple of notes from the year. I'll leave that posted, Nick, for a little bit in case folks have any questions. Noticeable changes with the policy in place. Fewer interruptions during class time. Teachers reporting fewer incidents where they have to address students with their devices out during class. The cafeteria is noticeably louder during lunch. Students are participating in conversations. I had card games breaking out. And less of the scrolling individually as students participate in lunch. Challenges observed include individual students continue to carry their phones on their person. Students access their phones in the bathroom and non-classroom spaces and have moved to smartwatches and earbuds. In addition, students have learned to store their personal electronics on their bodies in places that they know that staff will not search. We do not. Be really clear about this. Do not put hands on the students. We do not do invasive searches. Changes to consider going forward is having a student-led review of the student handbook this summer and clarifying expectations, adding interventions to address cell phone addiction and procedures to address hidden electronics, including vapes, which we are increasingly finding vapes that are Bluetooth enabled. And also, if you watched the news last night, the superintendent across the border in New York concerns that fentanyl is now showing up in vapes that students are accessing. I recommend personally to members of the board and this community to read The Anxious Generation. The author is Jonathan Haidt. His last name is Haidt. It's a very interesting book. It's not totally dedicated to technology and its connection to teenage brain development, but the author does a nice job of reminding us that social media platforms are not built to support positive teenage development. In fact, they are maximizing corporate profits. And there's an increasing body of research that shows that increased amount of times on social media, especially for students under the age of 16, is damaging and actually rewiring their brain. So if you need a light summer read, The Anxious Generation, I would highly recommend it. I'll pause for a moment in case folks have questions. I apologize to Mr. McGuire in advance. I have a couple of updates for the board.
Yeah, I have questions on that piece.
Do we have data on the lack of the decrease of cell phone use and grades? Or
Well, we have not done that correlation. That would be an interesting project. I've got a couple of folks who want to dig into that. Mr. Neal, who is an associate principal, already has a student-led group that's going to be looking at the handbook. He definitely wants to spend some time on the cell phones and the vapes. Any other questions?
Do you have correlating data around violence, like fights breaking out? Has it impacted that?
Oh, and we have not done that correlation.
Okay.
But happy to try to connect with. Again, I recommend the book as it is also showing that cell phone usage, especially among students who are using it late at night or in excess of 8 hours, which I'm going to tell you a lot of my students do. Direct correlations to things including exacerbating ADHD symptoms, increasing depression, anxiety, internal, external characteristics, which we asked staff to observe and graph and building. So all those things are going in the wrong direction. And again, we can have a spirited conversation about cell phones, but again, the platforms are not built for positive student development. They are built to maximize profit, make you click, make you follow the link, all that good stuff. A scheduling update, if you don't mind, I'll move along. So Mr. McGuire's brought a presentation as well. We continue to work on our master schedule with the goal of sharing teacher schedules by the end of next week. That would be May 30th. That's earlier than previous. We continue to look to fill teaching positions. We have openings in mathematics, social studies, science. We spoke about this last meeting. In the time since we last met, I've had a resignation of a Spanish teacher. So we are interviewing candidates this week to fill that position. We had a phone call to Cartagena, Colombia last night and Morocco. Very interesting folks, all looking to come back to the United States. But the pool is not deep, and we will definitely be using non-traditional teaching candidates if we move there. I was on a phone call earlier in the week with principals from Brattleboro and Mount Aid. They too are looking for world language teachers as they move forward. Other news, just want to say I had the bright spot of my school year on May 6th. We hosted a home game for our unified basketball team. I was very proud as our student body was able to join the 1 o'clock game. We filled H Gym. The audience was very appropriate, cheered for both teams. How can you not? It's unified basketball. It's a good time. We had an impromptu dance party at halftime. There may be video showing me attempting to be coordinated. I apologize in advance for that. I want to say that Coach Allison Brigham and her athletes really appreciated the support of the community. They qualified for the playoffs. And again, I couldn't have been prouder of all my students at MAU. What a truly supportive group they are. I want to congratulate the cast and crew of 6, who along with Lynn Sweet put on 4 amazing shows from May 1st to May 3rd. That's happened since last time we met. The show was fantastic. I hope you got a chance to get out and see it. It's the story of the 6 wives of King Henry VIII. The king never appears. The queens take the stage. It was great, great singing, choreography. The music department is very busy this time of year. Folks know that. They visited New York City over the weekend, came home, then staged Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat on Sunday. And they continue to have events, I think, every weekend between now and graduation. I want to congratulate Ella Palisano, who broke the state record in the high jump last week on a beautiful, sunny, hard to believe day. It was a really nice day to come out and watch the one home track meet. Was able to watch her jump and other athletes. It was a really nice day. I want to congratulate the success of the softball, baseball, and girls lacrosse teams, all of them performing very strongly. We'll know June 1st playoff seedings and playoff schedules. I would expect all of them to have great success. Emily covered the calendar. I would just reinforce a couple things. May 28th, underclassmen, we send a note to families so that folks can plan. Yes, my student's getting a award, so I will go. Junior and senior prom is a ticketed event. Students can't just show up and enter the prom, and we do not allow families and friends to come inside the event area. So just, I don't want to disappoint folks if they get to the door. Graduation is a ticketed event. We've done inside 2 years in a row. We break the streak this year, although if it's 90 and humid, you're all going to want to be in an air-conditioned gym. I'm just telling you that right now. But there will be tickets. We are sharing those with seniors. There are more tickets available when we're outside. There will be limited ones when we're inside, but we do open the auditorium and have that televised thanks to the folks at Cat TV. So for board members under graduation, you are all invited to graduation. If you would like to be on the stage with the superintendent and myself, please feel free to reach out to Christina at the high school, and we'll save you a spot. I know some folks have participated in the past, but please feel free to be welcome. And June 13th, as Emily said, is last day of school for everybody else. It is the 1 half day of this week, in case your high schooler starts selling you that it's earlier.
Can you tell me the day of graduation again?
The sixth.
June the sixth. It is a Friday. It's at 6 p.m. And we'll keep an eye on the weather, give folks a heads up how to plan for that. Sorry, Mr. McGuire, I went long.
No, you warned me. Good stuff too. It was all positive, good stuff, so. My turn? All right, thanks. I have a guest with me today. I'm gonna do a couple pieces and then I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Kelly Brooks. He's the site coordinator for the 21st century experience at the school programs, some programs at the middle school. He also helps oversee clubs and activities and basically any students that are in the building after school and helping them get home safe and get a snack and kind of coordinating programs. So I'm gonna turn it over to him in a moment, but I just want to go over a couple things first. We have a big annual event at the middle school. You've probably heard me talk about it before. It's called Patriot Challenge Day. It is I would explain, it's something that you can't quite put into words until you come over to the middle school and experience it. Mr. Payne has done so he knows what I mean. Everything from me being in the dunk tank to not necessarily my favorite part of the day, but hey, I'm a good sport about it. And to different team building events. It's kind of like a big field day with a little bit more focus. It's my favorite day of the year. We do a team cheer. Each team does a team cheer, does a lip sync battle. We load everyone up into the cafeteria the gymnasium for some of those events. And it's just a really powerful moment. I encourage you to come up. That is scheduled for this Friday. However, some of the events are outside events. And if you've looked at the weather for Friday, especially if you're going to be in a dunk tank, it's not really very favorable. So we've made a little pivot, and the afternoon events, which are inside events, and the barbecue, which is going to be barbecue with some inside seating, we'll say, that is still on for this Friday the 23rd, and we're rescheduling the outdoor events for a later date in June, which will be one morning. So I just wanted to put a plug in for that because it's a really fun time. And if anyone wants to come up and kind of see what it's about and experience it, you're more than welcome to do so. And that's, again, this Friday, we'll be starting at 10:45. Just a little note about you guys talking about graduation. My 8th grade celebration at the middle school is scheduled for Thursday, the 12th, Thursday, June 12th. That event begins at 6 o'clock. I like to do an hour ceremony, keep it in an hour so people aren't sitting too long. We should do a nice ceremony for an hour. Then we have an after party for the students. So that starts at 6 o'clock. And I think typically if we invite all board members, I think that last year, did you go through sending a note to Jim?
I think so. I don't remember who.
Jim, is that what they should do if they did to let us know if they want to be? You're muted, sir.
The easiest would be email Amy and then
Okay.
she could get it to you.
And she could reach out to Sarah Hollister and let her know. Okay.
Yep.
So if you, and we have seating, if anyone would like to, attend, we have seating up front with us. And we actually, last year, we had a couple of board members come and we, they marched in with us and everything. So, so we'd love to see you there. Again, that's from 6 to 7 for the ceremony. Let's see. Only other thing I had before turning it over to Kel is a hiring update. And I do have a foreign language teacher that we have hired, that they're in the agenda. The teacher is a Spanish teacher. They do not teach French. A little update for the board. However, I do have a plan to allow my 7th graders who started in French to finish that year, that French 1 experience and take that again as 8th graders next year. So I just wanted to make a note to that. And my current foreign language teacher is going to be stepping up and offering that as a section for us. So there's that. And then I have two math candidates that I'm currently working with in kind of the final stages of hiring, and hope to have nomination forms over soon. So that's just a little update. I'm gonna turn it over to Kelly. He's gonna talk to you with a focus on the 21st century after school and summer experiences, but he's gonna do a little highlight about athletics and clubs and activities as well. All you, Kelly.
Thank you, guys.
I'm just gonna stand off to the side here. It's a little intimidating with Jim and Scott behind me. So I'm just gonna step over to the side here. I just want to thank everyone for this opportunity that you've allowed the middle school to have. We have a very well-oiled machine, and if it wasn't for everyone at central office, due for the Abbey Group, our teachers at the middle school, our outside community members, we wouldn't be as successful as we are now without their support. So I just have to start off by saying thank you to them. I also have to say thank you to Mr. Payne for giving me the opportunity years ago to come to the middle school. So thank you. I'm gonna give you a little highlights of this year's after school. The middle school offered 18 different athletic activities, 14 different clubs year round, and 14 different types of 21 century experiences over 3 different sessions. In the springtime, we had 111 student athletes participate in athletic. We had between 80 and 90 students in clubs, and we had another 44 students participating in 21C experiences. Some of the after-school clubs that we offer are theater, yearbook, rock climbing, mountain bike, and glow. Some of the 21 experiences that we offer is Lego robotics, crochet and yarn, guitar, wood burning, Be the Change, and Coping Cafe. Today I'm going to highlight 3 programs. 2 are 21 century and 1 is a club. Lego robotics, which is the advisor is Leah Arrington. Basically, we have what are called spike kits. Okay, they're Lego kits that students learn to write code in. They create robotics. They create robots using instructions and their imaginations. And one of the things that we're building on is to one day be able to enter a Lego League challenge by some of the things they create. So in a Monday or Tuesday, if you come into the middle school and you head down to the 6th grade wing, you may see a Lego car trying to take off in the air. And that is a kid that has developed the code and developed the Lego robotic to, make the plane take off a little bit. Or, they're building cars to race each other in the hallway. And so kids are learning to write code through these spike kits, and they've been extremely beneficial. This is a club that just started off with a couple kids, and now we have 10 to 12 kids consistently coming, and that's just 6th graders. All right, hopefully next year, we're going to continue to build on that and add, 10 to 12 more kids in the Lego robotics program to have 24 kids. And so we're looking to build each year. Another great thing that's been added is called Coping Cafe. All right. And it's a program that's offered every Thursday that allows kids to come for mental health. Okay. It allows kids to, if they don't have, a therapist, an outside clinician, they can come and talk to someone, and they give them, our clinicians give them strategies, mental health strategies to work with, how to deal with anxiety. This is a group that also only started off with 2 or 3 kids, and they're up to like 13, 14 kids. And so they do everything from coloring to working on, hey, I have an exam coming up. I'm feeling anxious about it. What are some tools that I could have in my toolbox so when I take that test, I feel comfortable? And so these are 2 clinicians that are very passionate about it. They are Katie Hall and Allie Rodriguez, and they have opened it up to staff. So I think it's once a month, they offer a session for staff to come in if they want to talk to someone. And this has been extremely beneficial. We receive a lot of feedback from kids saying, hey, that test, or hey, that really helped me through that situation. And that's something that the kids may not have during the regular day, but it gives them a Thursday, it gives them a time slot to come in and, talk to someone. The other one is our theater program.
Cal, I just want to make one real quick point about that. It's just an important point. The clinicians are really big on making sure that it's known that we do have a number of students that, do have, intakes done and scheduled sessions with our clinicians, but this is not that.
No.
It is not therapy. It's a session where they can connect with someone, and like Kelly said, they can, you know, get some different strategies and things like that to, you know, to navigate the day better. But it is not, I just wanted to be clear with them, it's not, you know, it's not a group therapy session or anything.
Yes, yes, let's make that clear. Sorry about that. It's not a group therapy session. In our theater club. All right. I never thought I would become very passionate about it, but last year I went to one of our middle school plays and I tried to get in and they were sold out. I saw kids trying to bring chairs in. I saw our advisors, Mr. Gallen and Miss Albertson carrying in chairs, trying to make more room for people to sit. And I looked over at my wife, I said, there are too many families here that want to see their son or daughter. We're going to come back the next day. Well, we did that and we did the same thing again. All right, there's too many. So this is a hot ticket in town right now.
It is.
All right, a very hot ticket. And I have up-to-date ticket sales for you guys. The shows are June 6th at 7 p.m. June 7th, there's 2 shows, a 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. show, and June 8th, a 2 p.m. show, and they're at the Bennington VAPA Theater,
That's funny, that's
Yeah.
in college.
Bennington College, yes.
It is. It's at
Okay,
college.
and so
Pretty big.
at this time, at 3 o'clock this afternoon, we had over 500 tickets sold for the 3 days.
Does that money go back into the program? The ticket, the money?
Yes, it goes back into the program. If you're interested, I have a website for tickets. You can visit www.ticketcor.com/MAUMS/. It is the Lightning Thief, the Percy Jackson musical.
They do a great job. They really do. So it'll be a good show. I'm gonna make sure I make it to at least one of those performances as well.
And one of the biggest things I have to highlight is, yes, I oversee everything, but this is really driven by our staff, all right, and our outside community members, all right? We did a thing with the tennis center and kids just fell in love with it. So all these great numbers that we're seeing at the middle school are all driven by the staff and wanting to do things after school. You know, I'm starting to collect a list of staff members that want to do a club or activity next year. And there's a waiting list because I only have a certain amount of clubs or activities that I can do. And one of the new ones that we're looking to introduce, and never thought I would be doing this, but RC Cars. RC Cars is a new one that's starting to, you know, gain some momentum. And Minecraft is back because of the movie.
So what's Glow? You mentioned.
Glow is gay, lesbian, or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a program to, you know, just give kids a place, you know, to just connect and, you know, get some different supports and have conversations. And anyone can join.
Awesome.
Yep.
But he looks pretty jazzed about all it.
He is jazzed about it, he's passionate about it, and that's why I wanted him to come and talk with you guys.
Yeah.
It is, it's fun after school. It's, like I said, it's a well-oiled machine. I can remember Thursdays are a big day at the middle school. I remember standing with Mr. McGuire one day and saying, what have I done? What have I done? And then heading right into that cafeteria. It's like an 8th grade lunch sometimes. The amount of
The
kids. in there.
systems that are in place now, you know, that's one of the big things I see since Mr. Brooks has been in this position. You know, we've always run a pretty good, you know, range of like clubs and activities, even before we had the 21st C grant. But there's so much more intentionality to it. Like, you know, there's signups, there's better communication with families. We have better, you know, rosters and documentation of who's where, and, you know, transportation is, you know, set up and smooth. And so it's just, you know, it's much more of a thoughtful, intentional experience, not just kids hanging out and staying after school. I'm proud of that.
Are we in year 1 or 2 of the 21st century grant?
Year one,
Year one.
year
The
one is
final grant?
it's a
Hi.
5-year grant. Yep. Yep. And then that's for the entire district.
And I have some brochures if you're interested in my designing ability. I did bring some brochures. I must say, it was, I learned a lot about Canva. It's a fun program, but at my age, it's very difficult.
Try mine.
So, these are some of the latest, experiences that we have. Like I said, we run 3 different sessions. Our first session ran from October 21st to December 20th. Our second was January 6th to March 21st. And our last one was March 24th to June 7th. And if you guys are interested in looking,
And is that our current?
that is our current
Oh, it's the one with
experiences
the- yeah.
that are going on right now.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks, for
Oh,
all
thank
you've
you.
done to create this.
Forgot
And
they
to
were-
to everybody who's helping.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Gary,
Kelly,
like
for your
Scott,
enthusiasm.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, the only thing that I've seen Kelly more enthusiastic for is the Boston Red Sox.
I was gonna make a comment, but I didn't think it was.
I figured it was coming at one point, but yeah.
It definitely was.
That's great. Thanks, Kelly.
I'd still love to bring, we couldn't quite put it together. Timing of everything, I wasn't sure if we were gonna have a parking spot today in the agenda. But we definitely want to bring some food to talk to you guys too. We're gonna have to make a commitment to do that. I know I've been bringing it up a couple times.
And the nice thing about 21C is the fact that we're building bridges between schools. You know, they're doing crochet and yarn in the elementary, and by the time they get to the middle school, you know, we have the program there for them to continue. And that's the same thing that we're building bridges with the high school. You know, they have a program after school, I believe it's called Snacks, which I thought we were handing out more snacks. But it's not, it's the name of the group, which Snacks makes you want to go to the group. But it involves like cooking and stuff like that. And so we have a gardening, cooking, and, you know, more farm to table type of stuff that are preparing the kids. So when they go to high school, all right, they have a club right there for them. Same thing with the elementary. Gardening, or yarn and crochet and yarn, we have that at.
It could be something though, yarn and gardening. That was really nice.
I'm purging at my house at the moment and I have an overabundance of yarn.
We would
Do you
love to
accept
have,
donations.
we will,
Reach out to Mr. Brooks.
I don't know, can I take,
Reach out to Mr.
I would
Brooks.
love to take a donation.
I will send them in with Jen.
All right, thank you.
Yep. I also have a lot of hooks too. I'll throw those in too.
Okay, we'll take anything.
Are there any other questions?
See?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
At the end of it.
That's the end. Yeah, I saved the best for last, so that's the end. How can I follow that?
I had just a couple of notes for the chair's report. I'm participating on the screening committee for the principal. Nick, do you want to give an update on that, or do you want me just on the principal screening?
I mean, yeah, the update right now is the screening committee's convened, reviewed applications, and we have our first round of interviews scheduled for tomorrow
Yes.
at the high school. So we'll have an update about next steps.
And I'm
Hopefully by next.
assuming if they progress to a point at some point where we could have a special meeting before the regular meeting for MAU next month, that I hope that we could accommodate that, so just to move things along, if you guys do end up with a candidate that you want to put in front of us.
That would be great if we.
Yeah, I would see no reason why that couldn't
I am
happen if you have a candidate that you want to move forward.
I'm not sure if I missed the memo or I didn't read it. Where at the high school?
We're using their main conference room,
I'm sorry.
the main conference room there at the high school.
We will meet and greet you at the door.
Tomorrow? Yeah, good. I'm glad I didn't read, must have not read that either. I would have been here. Okay.
12:30 tomorrow, next time.
Yep, first interview at 12:30 if we can gather.
If you,
Yeah.
we'll make sure someone's meeting you at the door.
Okay, Leon wasn't able to make it tonight, but wanted to strongly encourage people to come participate at the graduation, at either graduation or the middle school graduation. I know I think I'm gonna try to do both this year, but if we can coordinate and have spread like between the space, that would be great. And then the only other comment I had, I also attended 6, and like all the spring sports, they're doing great. 6, if there had been a state championship, I'm convinced they would have won. It is hands down one of the best performances, but. And it sounds like we're gonna need more support for them if you have such a strong theater,
Oh, we have a strong
Yeah.
group coming.
which is great. I think that's fantastic. And that is it for the chair's report. There are, for item 9, there's a variety of things posted. For just for your FYI, we have an executive session on it. Was this something that we need, that we are having, or, okay, all right,
Yes.
so,
Shouldn't be long.
okay, I just didn't know if it were typical. So,
And you will
gonna
take
have-
action. It may require you to take a vote when you come out of executive session.
when we come out, okay, so at this point, I'd like someone make a motion. We're gonna go into executive session for 1 VSA 313 A and 4 contracts. Jim, or will you be entering into it
Yes,
with us?
yep.
As
Nick,
well as,
and you
as
want
well
Nick.
as Nick? Okay.
Yep.
Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
And,
Second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your school year.
Cat TV's back, Richard not yet, and Richard's back. Everyone's back.
I'd like to make a motion to allow the SU representatives from the MAU board to vote for non-union contracts. Did I get it all? Yes.
Second.
Second by Scott. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes, you might.
All in favor?
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Sue.
Take care.
That's good.